Man, I'm done. I'm officially fed up. We've been hearing about a new Blade movie for what, half a decade? They cast Mahershala Ali, score, and since then, a big sloppy pile of nothing. This director pulled out, that director fell in the ditch. It's stuck in development hell doing TRT with the devil. I mean, come on. We've seen delays before, but this is bananas. Remember how excited everyone was at that initial announcement? I was jazzed like it was Christmas. Fans were hyped, thinking we'd get a fresh take on the Daywalker, but all you get is a big slap in the cassava.
Patience, Lunk. The inner workings of a modern studio system is a mystery slathered in enigma sauce, full of competing priorities, executive meddling, and market analysis that could fill a vampire's crib. Blade is a big egg that has been cracked to become part of a giant omelet that doesn't have any ham or spring onions, but a whole bunch of corporate politics and shattered dreams.
Sheesh, I don't think I want any of that omelet. Come on, Constantine. This is Blade we're talking about. The guy who proved a dark R-rated comic book movie could dominate the box office. He's got the fans, the legacy, so why is it stuck? While other franchises are turning out sequels left and right. Make it make sense. Look at the Fast and the Furious franchise. They are so overdone they gotta shoot Ludacris into space to get a rise out of me anymore. Or even the Marvel stuff. It feels like that Dormammu scene over and over again. The same thing in a different hero-themed bag. Nothing. It's infuriating.
You've hit on one of Hollywood's dirty little secrets. Blade's brilliance is its own worst enemy. Its groundbreaking legacy casts a shadow so long, it's trapped the franchise in a creative stalemate. Tonight, we're diving into why Blade, despite its iconic status, remains underutilized, and what makes it so hard for Hollywood to bring it back.
Let's just say it. It's the Snipes factor. Wesley Snipes wasn't just cool, he was the real deal. 5th degree black belt, man. Watch out. When he's slicing through vampires, it's not fake Hollywood punches, it's legit. It's like watching a pro boxer in the ring versus a stunt double flailing around. You feel the weight of every move. And don't get me started on his charisma. That smirk, the leather coat, the shades. He owned every scene, making Blade feel like a force of nature, not just a character.
You picking up what I'm putting down, young grasshopper. Let's go back to 1998. Comic book movies were a punchline, like Batman and Robin's Neon Nightmare, with ice puns and rubber nipples. Cover your eyes. The genre was all camp and kid stuff, barely scraping by at the box office. Then Blade drops, a B-list Marvel character drenched in horror, R-rated to the core. No one thought it worked, but Snipes brought a raw, authentic intensity, boot-kicking fools in the chin and looking good doing it. Solid. He was physical, grounded, effortlessly cool. He didn't just star in Blade, he redefined what a comic book movie could be. His martial arts background infused the action with realism, and his presence turned a pulpy story into something visceral and unforgettable. Without Snipes, Blade might have been just another forgotten flop that we'd be making fun of right now. Cracking but facking. Speaking of that physicality, Snipes' ability to unleash a flurry of kicks was a huge part of Blade's combat style. Relentless, overwhelming, like a storm. Fans wanted to channel that energy could try something like the rapid-fire kicking drill. Blade's fighting style is about overwhelming his opponents with a relentless barrage of strikes. This drill hones that ability. You start in a fighting stance and as quickly as possible, throw 10 consecutive kicks with one leg. The goal is not a perfect textbook kick, but rather maximum speed and explosive power. You're training your fast twitch muscle fibers to fire off a kick in rapid succession, a critical skill for non-stop fighting like Blade. You then switch legs and repeat the process. It's the kind of training that mirrors Snipes' ability to make every fight scene feel like high-octane assault, keeping vampires on their heels.
Right? He is Blade. So even with a talent like Mahershala Ali, it feels like a cover band trying to play a classic. They might nail the notes, but it's not the same soul. Ali's got that quiet intensity from Moonlight and True Detective. But Snipes was explosive, larger than life. It's a tough act to follow, and you can tell the studio's been sweating it.
Exactly. That authenticity created a legacy that's both a blessing and a curse. He's the first reason Blade is underutilized, the burden of an iconic performance. Snipes' portrayal was so definitive that recasting feels like a sacrilege to the fans. Ali's incredible, but he stepped into a role that's practically synonymous with Snipes. That pressure makes studios second-guess every move, afraid of alienating a passionate fan base. We've seen fan backlash kill projects before. Think the Sonic redesign fiasco or the Ghostbusters reboot drama. For Blade, the stakes are even higher because Snipes didn't just play the role. He embodied it in a way that etched it into pop culture history.
Okay, but it's not just Snipes. The vibe of those movies was unreal. Gritty, dark, bloody, straight up horror action. You can't just plug that into today's Marvel machine. Imagine Blade trading quips with Spider-Man or chilling at Avengers HQ. It'd be ridiculous. The original films had that underground club scene feel, with techno beats and arterial spray. It's not family friendly at all.
You're hitting the second reason, the vision clash. The original Blade trilogy thrived because it was its own beast, directed by folks like Stephen Norrington and Guillermo del Toro. These films were raw, nocturnal, street-level stories, blood and guts everywhere. They didn't need to fit into a cinematic universe with Disneyland and rides and junk. But now, Marvel's all about interconnected stories. PG-13 humor and synergy. Blade walks a different blood-drenched path, and it doesn't mesh with that. The studio's been grappling with this, cycling through directors like Bassem Tariq and Yann Demange, reportedly over creative differences. Rumored scripts have been swung from period pieces to ensemble films where Blade's barely the star. They're trying to force a square peg into a round hole, and it's stalling everything. Del Toro went so hard with his rendition of Blade 2. With its special effects, set design, and art direction, he set a macabre and goofy tone that's hard to replicate in a shared universe where everything has to tie back to Thanos-level threats. It wasn't just speed. Blade's kicks had to hit like a sledgehammer to take down superhuman vampires. That's where something like the shattered kick isometric hold comes in. Vampires, particularly the strong ones, have a superhuman durability. Blade needs kicks that can deliver devastating impact. This exercise combines strength and control. You would execute a kick, like a side kick or a roundhouse kick, but instead of a quick snap, you would extend your leg and hold the kick in place for several seconds. You're training your leg and core to stabilize and hold a position of maximum tension, as if you're trying to break a thick wooden board or the rib cage of a vampire. This builds the kind of muscle control and raw brute force power that makes a kick lethal.
And it's gotta be R-rated, no debate. Exploding vampires, blood raves, katanas slicing heads off. That's Blade. A PG-13 version, fans would riot. You'd lose the essence.
That's the third reason, the R-rated dilemma. Deadpool and Logan showed R-rated superhero films can rake in cash, but they existed outside the MCU's polished ecosystem. Disney's built a 4-quadrant family-friendly empire. Theme parks, toys, the works. An R-rated Blade messes with that. It limits merchandising, complicates crossovers, and clashes with their brand. But fans won't accept a toned-down Blade. The studio's caught between honoring the franchise's essence and protecting their business model, and that indecision keeps the project in limbo. Look at how Disney handled the Fox properties post-merger. They sanitized some, integrated others carefully, but Blade's raw edge makes it a wild card that won't go down easy.
So what? Blade's just too perfect for its own good? Hollywood's scared to touch it because it's already a legend? It's like they've got this priceless artifact and they're just afraid to dust it off in case it crumbles.
That's the fourth reason, the weight of a perfect legacy. Blade didn't just succeed, it changed the game. It proved comic book movies could be dark, mature, and wildly profitable, paving the way for the MCU. But that success makes studios overly cautious. They're terrified of tarnishing a masterpiece, or maybe not. Every decision, casting, tone, story, gets overanalyzed to death. The fear of failing to match the original's impact has paralyzed the reboot process. Remember how Blade grossed over $130 million on a $45 million budget in 1998? Adjusted for inflation, that's huge for its time, and it kickstarted the superhero boom. Now with billion-dollar expectations, the pressure is immense.
And let's not forget the cultural ripple effects. Before Blade, vampires were all Dracula capes and romance. After, their club hopping monsters get dusted in style. Trying to top that innovation feels impossible without copying it.
Precisely. Which brings us to the fifth reason, the innovative storytelling curse. Blade's narrative was revolutionary, blending horror tropes with high-tech action in ways that felt fresh and boundary-pushing. Think the serum that keeps Blade from turning fully vampire, or the intricate vampire society with its politics and tech gadgets. It wasn't just a fight, it had world building that influenced everything from Underworld to The Boys. But now Hollywood is flooded with derivative content, endless vampire shows, anti-hero tales. A new Blade would have to innovate again to stand out. The demand for originality born from the original's genius creates a creative block. The directors keep bailing because they can't find a script that honors the past while pushing forward without alienating fans who want more of the same. And speaking of navigating chaotic combat like Blade does in those intricate fight scenes, the Indian Club exercise is a perfect way to build that kind of fluidity and functional strength. Start with a light pair of clubs. 25 pounds is plenty to begin with. Stand shoulder width apart, holding a club in each hand. The most basic movement is the front circle. You'll start with the club in a ready position at your side, then swing them forward and up in a circular motion, keeping your elbows close to your body. As the club reaches the top of the arc, your hands will be near your shoulders. Continue the motion, swinging them down and back behind you. Then return to the starting position. The movement should be continuous and smooth, like you're drawing a series of circles in the air. You can then progress to more complex moves, like figure eights or outward circles, which further challenges your coordination and rotational strength. It's the kind of training that would give Blade the endurance and joint health to fight hordes of vampires without tiring, and the precise control to land every blow.
Yeah, and on top of that, Blade was ahead of its time with representation. A black lead in a major superhero film in the 90s? Groundbreaking. Now with calls for diversity everywhere, it'd have to live up to even higher standards, but it's already set the bar so high.
Spot on! That's the sixth reason, the representation benchmark. Blade shattered barriers as one of the first successful black-led superhero films, proving audiences crave diverse heroes long before Black Panther. Snipes' Blade was unapologetically black, drawing from blaxploitation vibes while subverting stereotypes. But in today's landscape, with heightened scrutiny on authenticity and inclusion, a reboot faces immense pressure to evolve that representation, perhaps exploring deeper cultural themes or ensemble diversity. Without tokenism, studios worry about backlash if it doesn't measure up, or if it tries too hard and feels forced. This elevated standard, a direct result of Blade's pioneering role, adds another layer of hesitation, making it too important to risk mishandling.
Man, that's brutal. Blade's out here collecting dust because it went so hard. Meanwhile, other franchises are just cruising along, dropping sequels like it's nothing. I guess that's life. You want a kick-butt Blade flick, and they shove Tron Ares down your throat. Who wanted that bag of baloney?
That's a good question, Lunk. Tune in next time, and we'll tell you why you can't always get what you want, like a good Wesley Snipes Blade movie. But you get what you need. Tron Ares. Oh my God. Oh my God.